Hey guys, how are you all doing today? It's Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, and I felt really compelled to talk about the YouReviewers Awards, second YouReviewers Awards 2012. I'm really looking forward to these. I think this is such a great idea and a great concept by the Schmoes Know, Jeremy Johns. I love this idea of these awards really connecting with the actual movie-going audience. While I don't completely hate the Oscars, and while I don't think they get everything wrong, I think they get a lot wrong, and I think they're actually really out of touch with the main movie-going audience today. And I just want to say about the YouReviewers Awards, even though I might not agree with all the picks or all of what's missing, I just still love the idea behind it, and I love that they really do care what we as fans want to see in these awards, and that ultimately is all that matters to me. So anyway, under the nominations, Best Screenplay, I can't really say who I want to win because I haven't seen any of these films, but I honestly think The Descendants is probably going to win that. Or maybe The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Next up we have Best Animated Film. The only animated film that I saw in 2011 was Winnie the Pooh, and that's not even on the list. And I think it should have been on the list though, honestly. I mean, I really loved Winnie the Pooh. I thought it was such a great return to classic hand-drawn animation, and I thought that it just really gave me that feeling that I had watching the Winnie the Pooh cartoons as a kid. So I'm disappointed that that's not there. But I haven't seen the other films. I kind of think The Adventures of Tintin is going to win this one. It's Spielberg, Peter Jackson. I haven't seen it again, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And I really want to see Kung Fu Panda 2 and Arthur Christmas and stuff as well. I haven't seen Cars 2, and good thing that isn't nominated because apparently it wasn't good, unfortunately. Now for Best Visual Effects, it really comes down to two films for me, and those are Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I thought both of these movies had some great visuals, but ultimately I'm going to have to go with Harry Potter. For one, I'm just very impressed that all the wizarding combat, you know, the spells flying at each other and stuff, it actually does feel real. You know, it feels like you're watching this. And if you ever watch the filming behind the scenes, I mean, they're just a bunch of people dancing around with wands and stuff. So the fact that the visual effects people are able to make these scenes so convincing is actually really good. Now, Deathly Hallows Part 2, there's a scene where a bridge blows up, and that was actually practical effects. A lot of that was practical. So I think that's great. And just all the other effects and just the whole look of the film was really, really good. And it really, I mean, you see green screen here and there, but it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like you're really there in all these environments. So I'm going to have to give it to Harry Potter on that one, and I think Harry Potter might win it. Now we're going on to Best Score, and I haven't seen The Muppets, unfortunately, but it really comes down to three films for me, and those are War Horse, Harry Potter, and Drive. I thought the Harry Potter score was phenomenal. I loved it. It was one of my favorite Harry Potter scores other than the John Williams scores for the first three films. And then we have Drive, and that score was just fantastic. The soundtrack, the songs they used were all great. The score just had a really 80s feel, and, you know, it was really cool. But my personal pick is War Horse. Out of all the things I loved about this movie, I loved so much, the score definitely stood out, and I just adored that soundtrack, the way it made me feel, the way it lifted my spirits, the way it made me frightened. I mean, it changed moods here and there, and it was just a really good score, a classic score by John Williams, and I want to see him win. But to be honest, I'll be happy if any of those three films wins, and I feel like it's going to come down between War Horse and Drive, honestly. Probably going to be Drive. Now the I'm Shocked It Didn't Suck award. I really think that's a funny idea for an award, and a really good award. I hope it sticks in future YouReviewers award shows. For me, what it comes down to is Mission Impossible 4 or Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And I loved both of these movies. I loved Mission Impossible 4 a little more, but I never thought that movie would suck. It was directed by Brad Bird, and I just thought it had a lot going for it. Now, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I didn't really think that would suck, but I thought there was a chance it could suck, for sure. And fortunately, it was the former. And yeah, this was a great movie, and I think it really surprised a lot of people. I mean, everybody was ripping on this film prior to its release, and after its release, people were saying how much it surprised them, how much they loved it. I think Rise of the Apes will win, and I think it deserves it. Now we're going to Best Trailer. Now, I'm a little surprised that Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows Part 2 wasn't nominated, but I can understand why, because that film was coming out soon. It came out last year. I think this award centers around trailers that are for films released next year. So now for Best Trailer, what it really comes down to for me is The Avengers, The Hobbit, and The Dark Knight Rises. I personally really liked the Avengers trailer. I thought it set up the action well and these different characters and stuff, but it didn't blow me away. And I'm very excited for this film now. I've seen the Super Bowl trailer. That blew me away. The first trailer didn't blow me away, but it was good. The ones that really got me excited, though, more than I already was, were The Hobbit and The Dark Knight Rises. And to be honest, I really can't pick between these two. I thought they both did a perfect job of setting up their respective films. The Hobbit trailer, it just had that song, and it had all these beautiful shots of Middle-earth and all this stuff. I think that looks like a great film. The trailer really got me excited. And The Dark Knight Rises, I mean, I feel like that trailer didn't give a whole lot away. It just set up who was going to be in it. It set up that it was going to be a really dark film. And I really like that. I like seeing Bane. And I love the end with that chanting, the Bane chant. I think it's going to come down between The Hobbit and The Dark Knight Rises, honestly. Now, most underrated movie. I'll admit I haven't seen every movie on this list, but it's gotta be Warrior for me. It just has to be Warrior. I adored this film. I thought it was a great movie. More people need to see it. It made me cry. It touched me to no end. And I'm honestly surprised that the Oscars didn't nominate for Best Picture. But who cares about the Oscars? This is the YouReviewers Awards. Now we're coming down to Best Hero, and I really love this category because who doesn't love a great hero? I think this is a really, really good category to acknowledge the heroes in film. And for me, it comes down to three main guys, and that is Caesar from Rise of the Planet of the Apes, the driver from Drive, and Harry Potter. Now this one took me a long time to think about because I loved all of these characters so much. The two it really came down to me for, though, were Caesar and Harry Potter, and I'm gonna have to go with Harry Potter because Harry Potter, you know, we have the previous 7 films, and it just really we saw him grow from a kid to a man, and I just think that is such a great transition in the books and on film. I think Daniel Radcliffe was excellent in this role. I think he got better as each film went along, but we're really here to talk about the character, and the character just really grows a lot throughout the series, and especially in the final film, we just see him have to do a lot of difficult things, have to make a lot of difficult choices, but he's ultimately doing it for the sake of humanity, and I love that about him. He knows what he has to do, he knows he has to defeat Voldemort, and he doesn't second guess himself, he doesn't hold back, he just does it. And he's really a man in this film. In the last Harry Potter film, Harry Potter is basically what the entire series has been building him up to be, and that is just a fully fledged man he has one goal in mind, and that is to destroy Lord Voldemort once and for all. Now, admittedly, I am biased because I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I've read the books, watched the movies, I've grown up with them, but I honestly think Harry Potter deserves this. I think he is a classic hero, right up there with Luke Skywalker and just all the greats, and I really want to see him win. Now, if Caesar or the driver win, I'll be okay too, but I just really think Harry Potter deserves this, and I mean, come on, guys. How do you get more heroic than Harry Potter? You just don't. You just don't get more heroic than Harry Potter. Think of the stakes. Think of all the stuff this guy had to endure in his life. Now, Best Villain. This one is a little trickier for me. It came down to 4. I loved Kevin Bacon as Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class. Bryce Dallas Howard was great in The Help. Albert Brooks was great in Drive. And Ralph Fiennes was great as Voldemort in Harry Potter. Now, normally I would pick Voldemort any day of the week. But in Deathly Hallows Part 2, he is a little intimidating here and there, but he really kind of isn't that scary in that film, you know, and as he shouldn't have been, because, you know, we see him getting closer and closer to his defeat. You know, I think it's such a great portrayal, but I'm not going to vote him because he doesn't do a whole lot of scary stuff in this film. To be honest, the ones that it really comes down to for me are Bryce Dallas Howard and Albert Brooks. I mean, these characters do some despicable things. They are truly hateable throughout the entire course of the film. And in all honesty, I don't know if I can pick between either of them. I think they were both great. Albert Brooks was definitely more chilling and frightening. So I might give him a slight edge. I think he could win it, but I think that both characters do their equal share of villainous things, and I'd be glad to see either of them win. I'd be glad to see Voldemort win, but I just, I just think that he didn't do enough awful things in part 2. Now, as for breakthrough actress, I can't say who I want to win because I haven't seen enough of these films, but I kind of think it's going to be Rooney Mara or Shailene Woodley. Now for breakthrough actor. First of all, Ryan Gosling, I love the guy, but he's not really a breakthrough actor this year compared to a lot of the other ones. I mean, he's been around for a while, so I'm going to immediately put him out. Not a disservice to him, he's great. For me, it comes down to Joel Courtney in Super 8 and Michael Fassbender in X-Men First Class. And I love Joel Courtney in Super 8. I thought he was fantastic. Really, the kid performances in that film were the best thing about it by far for me. Because the film was okay, but I didn't really think it was amazing like a lot of people. But the performances were great. Joel Courtney was excellent. But I think I'm going to have to go with Michael Fassbender for X-Men First Class. Now, that's the only film of his I've seen, admittedly, but his performance in that film was completely riveting. It blew me away. It really made me care for the character, and I was also scared of him at the same time. And I just loved watching the intensity of his performance. He was great in that film, and I do think he's going to win. Now, for Best Supporting Actor, the ones that it came down to for me, based on what I've seen, is Andy Serkis, Albert Brooks, and Nick Nolte for Best Supporting Actor. Now, I'm not complaining because I'm just really glad to see he's recognized. I personally think that Andy Serkis should have gotten a Best Actor nod instead of Best Supporting Actor, just because he was really the main character in Rise of the Apes. He wasn't a supporting actor. But I'm glad to see him getting recognition. But for me, and Albert Brooks was great in Drive, but it comes down to Nick Nolte for me. The instant I saw Warrior and I saw his performance, I said, he better get nominated for an Oscar. His performance moved me to tears. I cried watching this guy act in this film, and that rarely ever happens to me. His performance was just so real, and such a great character too, but just so real, and you believe that this guy existed. You just really felt his performance, and I think Nick Nolte deserves the award. However, I would be very happy if Andy Serkis got it. I think that those two are the most deserving. Best Supporting Actress, I can't really comment because I haven't seen enough of these films, but I loved Elle Fanning and I loved Octavia Spencer for Super 8 and The Help, respectively. And as much as I loved Octavia Spencer, I'm going to have to go Elle Fanning on this because Elle Fanning gave one of the best child performances that I've ever seen. And there are a few good ones out there. There are a lot of good ones, but I mean, she was really great in that film. I really felt her character. Really great job. Admittedly, though, I haven't seen Carey Mulligan in Shame. I heard that was a great performance. I can't really say who I want to win because I haven't seen enough. Best Actress, I haven't seen enough films, but I think Viola Davis was great in The Help. Now, Best Actor, I also haven't seen enough films, but the ones I have seen are 50-50 and Drive, and I can't pick. I mean, I think that both roles, both portrayals, Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Ryan Gosling, they're so different, but both of them did a great job for what they did. Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually made me cry in this movie. Ryan Gosling, I was just blown away by the intensity of his performance, even though he barely said anything. So I think it's going to come down between the two of them, or it could come down between the two of them. I think both of them deserve it, but admittedly I haven't seen the others, so I can't comment on who I want to win. Now for Best Director, for me it comes down between Nicholas Winding Refn and Steven Spielberg, and I honestly love both of these films, and I love their direction. I think Warhorse really was directed masterfully as well, and just a lot of great shots in that film, a lot of great camera choices and angles and stuff. I think Steven Spielberg did a great job directing that. Nicholas Winding Refn was great with Drive. I think Nicholas Winding Refn is going to win, but I would love to see Warhorse stand a chance. Alright guys, so finally we get to Best Picture, and to be honest, there are a few films I haven't seen. I haven't seen Descendants or Hugo. I haven't seen Midnight in Paris or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, but I haven't seen The Artist either, but pretty much everything else I've seen. And 2011, wow, this was a great year for films. There is one film that I would have loved to see there because it was my personal favorite film of 2011, and that was Warhorse. I love that movie. I thought that was a great movie, and I think it kind of, I don't know how many people have seen it, but I love that film so much. It's not nominated. I mean, cool, Steven Spielberg got a nod and all that, but you know, it's all cool because there are a lot of great films, and overall, great picks. Now, I love Rise of the Apes, but for me, it personally will come down between Warrior, Harry Potter, and Drive. And the big Harry Potter fan inside of me would really want Harry Potter to win. I think Harry Potter winning would be very cool, especially since the Oscars have just stuck their nose up at it all these past several years. But I don't think it'll win. I feel like Drive is going to win, and I feel like it deserves to win. Drive is a great film. I kind of would love to see Warrior win, to be honest, because that movie, it moved me to no end. I cried like a baby on 2 occasions at that film. It felt so real. The performances were all great. The writing was great too. And I feel like that movie deserves more attention, and I would honestly love to see it win Best Picture. However, I do think that Drive is going to win it, as it deserves to. I mean, it's a great movie, really well directed. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and just let me know, what are your feelings about it? What are your feelings about the nominees? What do you think about what I think? And, just what do you want to see? But anyway, guys, I'm looking forward to these YouReviewers Awards, and I think it's a great thing these guys are doing. And anyway, take care, and this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy, signing off.